All right, so in this video, we're actually going to go over how to set up the domains, how to set up the inboxes, how to link them to Google, how to set up your DNS records, all of this for cold email sending. So if you're following along, we're building an offer where we are automating a shorts system that makes founders not have to ever record again. So the name of our company or our domain that we're going to buy is called Never Record. The best way that I've found to variate your domain names is basically just to add a word before it or after it. And to automate that process, we have a spreadsheet here where you can type in your primary domain. So let's say my primary domain was neverrecord.com. I just need to type that into the spreadsheet and it will automatically generate variations. And you can just pick the ones that you like from this list, and then we will go buy them. Now, again, because we've already done the analysis in the previous video of figuring out how many domains we need to buy, I'm just going to go pick the first 10 here, and we're going to buy the primary domain, and then we're going to go ahead and try to buy the secondary domains. Let me show you how I would do that. Go to Porkbun. It's porkbun.com. Type in your domain that you want to buy. So obviously, I'm going to add that to my cart. Then I'm going to do the bulk search option and paste in the other 9 here that I wanted. Okay, then I hit search and it's going to tell me which of those are available. So you see get neverrecord.com, try neverrecord.com, meet neverrecord.com, go neverrecord.com, trial neverrecord.com, etc. So like all of these available. So I'm going to go ahead and just add them to my cart. And the reason we use Porkbun is because it's cheaper than say like GoDaddy. There are debates in the cold email community as to which of these service providers' name are the best. Some people swear by the Cloudflare domains. Other people say Porkbun is fine. As for our team, right now we're using Porkbun and then we're just changing the DNS records where we think it'll provide an issue. So as you can see, buying those 10 domains will run me about 110. So I'll go ahead and check out. Now, once you check out and you have the domains, I'll resume the video. Okay, so once you buy it, it's going to take a few minutes to set up, as you can see here. So the next step I'm going to do is go on over to Google. So if you're in the checklist, you should have a link to it. Actually, let me add that for you guys. I'm going to click on this link, but because I already have a Google Workspace account set up, I'm going to do this from the very beginning as if I'm starting from scratch. Like this is my very first Google Workspace setup. So what I'm going to do is open this in incognito. And now I'm going to go ahead and click get started. And it's going to ask me for my credentials. So it's going to ask me first name, last name, email, company name, my address, phone number. So I'm going to go ahead and follow all those steps. Email address already has a Google Workspace account. Okay. Create a new Google Workspace account. And so this is the part that you need to actually link the main domain that you just bought. So what we're going to do is set up using existing domain. So we just bought it from Porkbun and then we're going to now set it up here as your primary domain. So the domain name that we bought was neverrecord.com. Okay. Email sent to neverrecord won't be affected until you. Okay. Next. Now you want to create a username. So what I'm going to do is just type nick@neverrecord.com. I'm going to type in a password and then agree and continue. Great. So now it's going to ask me to pick a plan. Click the free trial option because they always give you the more expensive plan. What we're going to do is actually downgrade later. So you can actually change this. But for whatever reason, they don't let you change it on this screen. So click the free trial option. Now you're going to have to type in your address, phone number, and add a credit card for billing. So I'm going to do that now. I'll pause the video and I'll see you on the next screen. Okay, so now it wants to add on services for generative AI. We're going to skip that. And now you need to verify that you own that domain, neverrecord.com. Here's how we're going to do that. So click get started. It correctly identified that I bought it on Porkbun. I'm going to click continue. And now I need to input these records on Porkbun so that Google can verify my domain. So you need to input a text record and a CNAME record. So we're going to go over back to Porkbun and find that never record domain. Okay, we're back here at Porkbun. And so here you can see never record. The important thing is you're going to click on this little DNS record setting here. This is where you're going to input the text record and the CNAME record. So the first record is a TXT record. So let's see again the TXT value is. So copy this, go back here, leaves blank, and the answer goes here. Okay, perfect. That's the only thing you need to do for that. Then you're going to click add. So let's go ahead and click add. Then the second thing we're going to do is click CNAME. And now you're going to copy the name Put that here. And then in the answer, you're going to copy the value and put that in answer and click it. Now you should see both of those show up here. And so the next step for us will be to verify this via Google. So you got to click this button. And sometimes I like waiting a little bit because it takes a little minute to refresh. But then once it does, we wait at like 30 seconds, then we can click confirm and it should confirm. So I'm going to hit that now. Okay, so it's verified. Essentially, we can now start setting up a Gmail account using neverrecord.com. I'm actually surprised that nobody has ever gotten that domain. Let's go ahead and set up an inbox. So nick@neverrecord.com, proceed with activation. To do this, now you need to set up a MX record and an SPF record. So this is basically going to tell the domain that you are sending, your email provider is basically Google. There's an easy way and a hard way to do this. The hardware is to copy it manually and do it the way that we just did it for the verification. The easy way is if you go back over to Porkbun, they actually have a Google Workspace configuration here. So if you just click that, click OK, they normally add the MX record and the TXT record for you. So you can see here, they're now added. I didn't have to actually type in or do all the things that they were asking me to do here. Now I am going to double check this really quickly because priority one, they don't have an SPF record. Interesting. All right, so I'm just going to click confirm. Okay, see, it's now ready. And you notice I did that all without having to actually input the records manually. And that's that beautiful setting based on Porkbun knowing different providers. They already know the MX and SPF record that you need to input. Okay, so now my Google Workspace is configured. And so from here, it's just about adding extra inboxes. But before I do that, I do want to show you a few things, which is how to like downgrade your account. If I go back here, you're going to go to the admin console because this is where most of the work will be done here in admin. Click I understand. And now that you're here in admin, this is your primary domain. Remember, we are never, ever, ever sending cold emails out of your primary domain. The first thing I'm going to do is now link a secondary domain. You could easily type in domain here. Manage domains. Now I have to add a domain. Okay. This you see now is going to come as a secondary domain. Now it's the same process we went through before. It's just type in the domain name that we purchased. So let's go back to our list. I didn't actually purchase all of them. Still undecided about if we were going to promote it or not. If this is an offer you want us to promote or you feel like is much needed, we can deliver on this offer. Just let me know in the comments. Yeah, I'm going to grab this one right here and go back over to getneverrecord.com. Here we go. Secondary domain, blah, blah, blah. Add. Okay. Now, same setup, Porkbun, continue. You're gonna have to copy this text record and the CNAME record. So let me just do that again real quick. So this is the TXT. Boom, leave that blank, add, and then let's add the CNAME. And then let's go ahead and get that CNAME record. Host, and then this one is value right here. And then click add. Okay, great. Now that that's set up, usually what I do is I also just click the Google because I know I'm going to set it up on Google anyway. Get my MX record and my SPF record preloaded there, which is going to be good. Now that that's done, I go back here and I click confirm, and that should take a minute and then it'll confirm. So now you can see that that's been confirmed. So as you can see, my primary domain is the one that I first linked. All my secondary domains can be added under that primary domain. And so you could literally add like as many as you need under here. But the thing you're going to need is inboxes. Unfortunately, Google, they try to bill you a lot, and they try to sneak it in there. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually manage billing and downgrade this. So this Google Workspace Business Plus is not needed. What we typically do is we change the plan. Yeah, downgrade. And then we find the one that's $6 a month. You see this? $6 per user. And this is the option that you want to downgrade to. Click next. I usually take the flexible plan that is $7.20 per month because the one that's $6 is actually going to charge you annually, which is why in the calculations I put $7.20, by the way. Okay, so place that order. So now we have that downgraded. So what I'm going to do now is add a few more licenses. So you see here it says assign licenses. Well, we don't actually have licenses. So going to go ahead and go to billing subscriptions, and I'm going to add a few more inboxes. Okay, because I'm on the free trial, it's I don't actually have to pay for 10 licenses, but if you're running this, you're gonna have to pay for the 10 licenses. So there's actually a step in between here that I'm not showing you, which is like adding licenses. And typically when you go over to billing, there is that option, but because I'm on this free trial, it's not showing me that option. But you see how I have one assigned license? You guys need to add as many licenses as you need inboxes. So what does that mean? Well, if we go back over here to cost calculator and you see the number of inboxes you need, that's the number of licenses that you need. Okay, so you would need 19 licenses on this account. In essence, that's 19 times the $7.20. That's your monthly subscription that you're paying Google to host these inboxes. And then you need to create those users. So for example, if I wanted to create a user and I already bought the licenses, I would click on add a user. And so here, typically we do variations of your name. So let's say my name is Nick. My next variation might be Nick N or Nick dot my last name, and then create that way. Sorry, almost did the mistake there. Created my alternate on the primary. So what you're going to do is actually switch it to the secondary domain first and create two inboxes. So first one is Nick at the secondarydomain.com. Add it. And then what we're going to do, you never need to really log into that account, so don't worry about it. You can always reset the password if you have an issue. I go here and then I add another user. So again, I'm putting my name, but I'm putting a different variation on the email, right? Create user. Made a mistake there. So yeah, it's actually a good teaching point that I made that mistake, because that's happened to me before. When you're doing so many of these, you're like, man, I created it on the wrong email. Like, what do I do? Actually, if you ever do that by accident, there's actually a way to click on it and switch it, update user, and then you can actually switch the domain name here and update user. So if that ever happens to you by accident because you're doing it so fast, don't try to delete the inbox, because the moment you delete these inboxes, they go into like a death loop where Google ties up your license that you bought. It takes like full 30 days for you to get that back. Never recommend you delete these inboxes if you make a mistake, but rather that you change the name the way that I just showed you. Now you see I have two inboxes linked onto that one secondary domain. So the rest of the setup is just linking the rest of the secondary domains and creating inboxes for them. Now there is one more step, okay? It's a little bit technical. Hang with me. I know this has been a lot already. However, this other step is how we set up the final DNS records for your domain. Every domain needs to set up what is called a DKIM and DMARC record. So let's go here. And so the way we do this is you go to DMARC.com, and they have a tool here where they say DMARC record generator. You're going to click on that, and then you're going to type in your domain name. So let's say my domain name was getneverrecord.com. I'm going to type that in. You're going to click none. You're going to have to pick an email to send this to. These emails are pretty annoying and they send them out daily. Pick like a throwaway email inbox that if you don't want to look at these. For now, I'm just going to put Nick at. What I do, by the way, is I just create a filter in my inbox for the email address, archive it immediately. All right, so subdomain policy would be none, apply to 100%. You're going to do relaxed. And all right, so now that you set that, you generate the DKIM, click generate. Now it gives you the TXT record to put in. The way you input this, again, is you got to go over to porkbun, go to TXT, and then in the host column, you're going to put underscore DMARC because it already has the .never record already. This. And then in the answer column, you're going to put this. You can just copy, paste this, right? And then you're just going to add that on the DKIM side. So now you finished DMARC, okay? The next side is DKIM. So there's another tool here called DKIM record generator. Okay, so now you're going to put the get never record domain, type in S1, keep that the same, click generate. So this one's easier, same process, right? You're going to go back here, add a text record. So the first one is going to be S1, as you see here. The second one is going to be this code that is generated right here. And we plop that in. Okay, and now you're set up. So we just did SPF and MX record. We just did DKIM and DMARC. We set up 2 users per domain. We linked our secondary to G Suite. We set up our primary and we bought our domains. These steps are all completed. And so if you watch this video from end to end, you should have an email domain that is ready to go to avoid spam and to start warming up. And in the next session, what we're going to talk about is how to get your emails to mimic a real inbox so that Google and Outlook and these email providers don't put you in spam because they think you're operating like a real person. See you in the next video.